Hello, Sasha. How are you today?
Hi, I am just perfect given that we have no electricity right now, but that doesn't stop me from doing this interview and doing my activities, daily activities.
That's really inspiring. Thank you for doing that and for the inspiration that you are giving to me, and I'm sure to a lot of other people. And we wanted to speak today about things that happen in your life and that help you actually stay strong. So would you mind answering the question about things that you simply can imagine yourself without?
That's a really good question and very broad one. Um, from my perspective, I am actually I consist from different things, different people around me and processes around me. And I think that it's easier to imagine things that I mean, like everything is just completing me. So I think there are a lot of things that make me me, if you know what I mean. But probably some of them would be like people. I think that they impact me a lot, and they impact who I became, and probably that is the strongest, the biggest thing that I can't imagine myself without. Another one would be freedom and independence in my internal meaning, like for my internal feelings and for the country right now. I think this is something in my blood, and I can't imagine myself without being able to do what I want on the scale, human scale, and on the state level as well.
Well, I think that I get it because I share lots of the thoughts that you've just told. And speaking of things that you consist of, and probably activities and maybe also people, then what are those things that make you feel better and happier these days?
The most, the biggest one and the most important one for me is from one side, it's creativity and creating things. So there is a lot of distraction around us, but I believe that it is still important to create and to bring a bit more balance into this world. And there is distraction, but there needs to be life, love, and creation. So this is actually after the war started, there was even more creativity and creation in my life than it was before. And maybe this is my coping strategy, but I think this is a constructive and productive one. I started working with wood. I started my own Instagram page about creativity. I actually contribute a lot to this project right now. So creativity is the one thing, and the second thing is daily routines, which give some stability.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
So, yeah, I believe that before, when you were describing something creative, you were speaking about things that that you do because of the impulse, because of the inspiration, because you feel some special energy, and the routine is something that you do just because it's on your plan. Is it right?
Yes, that's exactly what I tried to say, that there are things, spontaneous things, and some creative stuff, but also there are things that are on the plan, and which is there is something that I do weekly, and no matter what's going on, I'm doing this weekly, or stuff that I'm doing daily. No matter what's going on, this is my activity. Actually, this gives my psyche some kind of stability in unstable world. And some routines, they can be modified, but some of them you can do no matter what. Like I can do my morning exercise if there is electricity or there is none. I can do it at any place. And yeah.
Well, true. I totally get what you're saying here. At the same time, what do you feel when things that you've planned for some reason cannot happen?
Yeah, Yeah.
For example, when your plan is related to the electricity or to some different person, and there are lots of things that are arrangements and they require more than one person involved. What do you feel in such situations, and do you have a coping strategy that helps you overcome, for example, negative feelings that appear after these failures?
I have a kind of different approach to planning, and I'm a planning freak. I like planning, and not only like daily stuff, but also my year, and even 2022. It was like we know like that a lot of plans were ruined, but my kind of planning, it is more agile and flexible, and it is actually based on values which are more fundamental and they change less. So no matter what's going on in the external world, in the environment, in our country, my values, they are stable. If relations and connections with close people are important to me, they are important in any circumstances. If exploring the world and society, cultures, and world around me is my value, and it's gonna be the value in any circumstances, no matter where am I. So my planning was based more on identifying these values, and then having kind of a list of ideas of what I would like to do to make them realize and fulfilled. So there were some ideas. Some of them changed over the course of the year, but some of them remained, and I actually implemented them. So the main idea is that those are ideas, and that does not mean that they have to be fulfilled and implemented. And if they're not, then this is a failure. So they're like constantly changing. Some ideas, I just realized that I don't really want to do this, but there are some others that I want to implement during this year.
That really makes sense to me. That sounds incredibly logical. And there is one moment that you mentioned, and I really want to clarify the meaning of it. You said that it's important to identify your priorities, your values, and after that, plan your life accordingly. But how do you identify your values and your priorities? What's important for that?
I think the most important thing here is to be able to listen to yourself, but not to others inside you, because sometimes it depends on the person, but being able to reflect on own life and to really hear what is important, hear myself, and understand what is important to me. I mean, some things could be important to my mother, to society, but they are not really important to me, and that's a big courage to face it and be honest with yourself, and see where's the values, which values are important to me and which values are important to others. That's not bad that things that are important to others is important to me, but
they should be truly important to you. So they shouldn't be fake importance, shouldn't be there.
Yes, and you should always remember about what's important to you. And from my latest insight was that actually when I started thinking about kind of values, my values, it was very superficial, and it was working as well. I was thinking that just traveling is my value, and it's okay. I just fulfilled, and I just made plans for travels and so on. And I did travel around Ukraine, and before I went to other countries. But after years, I started realizing that it's not actually the traveling component is the value, but rather this exploration of the world and other people. It can happen in other countries, but it can also happen wherever I am with those people around me. So like the level of exploration of own values, it can get deeper, deeper and deeper. But starting from more like superficial level is also fine, and it also works. So that's the beauty of it.
So if I understand you correctly, when you get your value correctly, you can find and adjust different tools to achieve it, to fulfill it. And if we take the example of traveling, that was actually the component of exploring the world.
Yes, you're completely right. You grasp the idea as I meant to say it.
Thank you. Just, you know what came to my mind? I realized why I like tasty food so much. Because while you were speaking, I was thinking, what about my values? And I really admire tasty food. And I believe that it's a part of joy. And I really find it important to get some joy into my life. And the easiest way to do that is through food or like tasty beverages, things like that. But joy can be achieved in a different way. Some movements or games or communication, for me, it's also joy. So I believe I've just answered a very important question for myself: what to do in order not to eat after 6.
That's an interesting insight. I hope it works and helps.
I also hope so. Cool. Actually, that's a very deep idea of, and this idea of planning according to your values. Is it yours, or maybe you were inspired somehow? Maybe you also explored or researched some different materials before you came up to this conclusion that values are important for planning more than just activities?
I think it's definitely not my invention, unfortunately, but still, I think I heard first I heard about this at the beginning of lockdown on some. It was a workshop for businesses or something like that. So they were, and there was just slight phrase about that businesses used to create strategies for 5 years and implement have plan of activities to fulfill this strategy for 5 years. But in our unstable world and the world that is like changing with the speed of light, it's just not realistic to have this strategy for 5 years. So then they were speaking about that you have to have values, they are more fundamental, and make decisions based on these values as you go, something like that. So this was my first first case when I heard about this. And then there is whole direction and people who explore and promote this idea of agile planning. So I think maybe I should get in touch with them and become part of promotion team of this approach, because I think it's just very important for people in our, like, even I don't know, I think there is no going back to normal, like I thought during the lockdown that okay, we'll just have 2 weeks of lockdown and then everything's gonna be back to normal. But this is just unrealistic idea that actually there is no going back to normal.
I believe it's important to face it. Yes. This changing world is something that we have to adjust to, and the sooner we realize it, the better it is for us. I agree with you totally.